I want to thank everyone for joining another mscrm-addons.com webinar. Today we're going to be talking about taking your Word templates to the next level. Basically, we're going to be going into some features of DocumentsCorePack that I feel and a lot of other people feel just make your templates, that much better. Another thing too is this is kind of the third part in a series that we've kind of been doing this year, kind of about template design. The first one being where we kind of showed you how to create a template. The next one being using conditional statements, and today we're going to be talking about some of the other features that you can use to, kind of take your templates to the next level that are already in DocumentsCorePack that you may or may not be aware of. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If this is if you've been here before, you kind of know how all this goes. I've got Michael Dorr, who's going to be there in the chat. He's going to be answering any of your questions that you may have. The chat is found in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. There's a little chat tab there. You can click on that. You can ask any kind of questions or anything like that you want during the webinar. He'll get those answered for you. Time permitting at the end, we will do a question and answer session. So, if you kind of want to hold on to the end, you can ask your questions then, no problem. So I want to go ahead and get started. And for the people that are new here, just talk a little bit about what DocumentsCorePack is. And DocumentsCorePack is basically a unified document solution that kind of helps you in the creation, processing, and automation of your documents. And what do we mean by that? So first of all, the generation process. All the templates are Microsoft Word-based templates, so they're real easy to create. You're able to create PDF, DocX, HTML, and several other different formats. You're able to map your different fields from CRM. It supports stand-up and custom entities and attributes. And we also have multi-relational support. Another nice feature that we have in there that we've added to it is we have OLEDB connector, which basically will allow you to basically pull information from outside database sources. So not just CRM, you're able to pull information from actually other databases as well. The processing of the documents that you can create, they can be used in mailing, so you can generate attachments and email content on the fly. We have an e-signature integration. Right now we support DocuSign and AssureSign. You have the ability to save to SharePoint, print. You can attach the document that you create to a note or to a letter. You're also able to kind of do this, and this kind of brings us into our next point. You're able to run workflows with this, so that kind of ties in with the automation of it. And the automation is basically you can generate documents automatically via workflows or through the DocumentsCorePack dialogues with the one-click business process. All processing options are supported. It has SharePoint integration. You have multi-part capabilities, and basically what that is you're able to take several different documents and combine them kind of into a workbook. So that's a really nice feature. So you can take a PDF from SharePoint, a document that you generate via DocumentsCorePack, a cover sheet, etc., and you can combine all those together. And then we also have a scheduler that's built in. And basically what the scheduler will do for you, it'll allow you to run schedule reports. You can use that also for payment and shipping options, payment and shipping confirmations. You can send these all out automatically. This thing will trigger workflows and stuff like that for you automatically. So those are some of the features basically that we think are important, and we think kind of like makes us kind of a step above anything else that's kind of out there. I want to talk a little bit about template design here. That's what we're here to kind of look at today. It's all Microsoft Word based, so you can see it just basically allows, it's a slick integration right there in Microsoft Word. It allows the users to design templates with, and they're already being able to use all the Word functionality and everything like that and build these things together. Some of the features of it is, again, it supports all entities, whether they be standard or custom. All data types are supported, and it has unlimited support for relationships. So you can have like multi-level relationships in those. Some of the key features that we're going to be going over today are the ability to embed pictures into your documents, whether those be pictures from the internet or they be static pictures that you have, like maybe like living inside a CRM, that they're stored inside a CRM. You actually have the ability to embed other documents into your document as you're generating it, and also the ability to actually embed other templates. And as we kind of go along through the demo, I think you'll see what's really interesting. One of the things that we did want to point out here is just kind of DocumentsCorePack versus the native document generation. We've got a comparison chart. You can see that there's a lot of differences there, but a couple things that I wanted to kind of point out, I've kind of highlighted, is like one of the major things is the relationship types. Supporting many-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. For us, we can do multi-levels. In the native document generation, you're limited to one level there. The ability to insert pictures, which is kind of one of the things we're going over today. We can do that out of the box. And sub-template support, which is another thing we're going to cover today that you can't do with the native document generation. So for today's demo, we're going to be using the DocumentsCorePack Template Designer. The first thing we're going to show is embedding pictures, kind of how to do that. We're going to have our pictures, our web reference pictures, and then also show you the pictures stored in the Dynamics 365 database. That would be like in an annotation field or an entity image or something along those lines. The next thing we're going to show you is how to embed documents, and these are just static documents. Just like for us, we're using a product spec sheet. Just how you would basically attach that to your document when you're generating it. And then lastly, we're going to talk about embedding templates. So being able to embed a sub-template into a template. So I'm going to just kind of flip over here to the first things first is just kind of show you what I'm talking about here. We're going to talk about our images first. And you have a couple of different ways to store images inside of CRM. Like for example here, I've got in the annotation field here for this particular account, I've got a JPEG here. I can open it up for you. And you see here I've got just a standard a logo in here. So that's one of the things we're going to be bringing into our document. The other thing is I have in here, I have a field, and this is just basically a logo link. So if I kind of go to this, open it up, you can see it's just a link to our logo there, just pulled straight from the internet. Another thing you're going to be able to embed. One thing that I want to talk about a little bit before I kind of get started with the linked images here is that the link actually needs to resolve. It needs to resolve and actually bring up the image, just as I just showed you. One of the things that we've seen people try to do is like use, for example, like Dropbox or something like that to pull images from. And the way that Dropbox works, you actually get a link to Dropbox, which is then displaying your picture, so that's not actually going to work. You got to make sure that when you actually open the link, it opens just the picture and nothing else. So in order to get these two things into my document, I want to go ahead and open up Word here and kind of show you how to do those. Now the first thing I'm going to work with is that linked image. And these are really, really easy to insert. So let me go ahead and I'll just go ahead to my insert mail merge fields here. Let me open this up a little bit so it's a little bit bigger so you can see it. And then basically here, what I have here is I want to choose my entity type for the type of document that I'm creating. I'm going to be creating this for an account. That's where my field is, where I'm going to pull this info from. And then here I have a list of my fields. I want to just go ahead and go down until I find my logo link. Now to embed this, I just basically come over here to my Insert Field button. I use a little drop-down arrow, and then I want to insert this logo link as a picture link field. So all I have to do here is click on it, and that then embeds the picture in here. Now with this, I do have to resize this a little bit. I can size it to however I want. And then that's basically going to pull that. It's going to, once I merge the document, It's going to follow that link and pull it and then insert it into this box here. Inserting the images, like say from the annotation field or from the entity image. Basically, to do that, because you can see here, that entity is that image is actually stored in a note. I don't have a reference here to it, so what I have to do is I kind of have to set this up. Excuse me. I need to go over to my additional tab here, and I need to add a relationship to get to that. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click Add a Relationship or Entity. This then opens up my Relationship Designer right here, and this allows me to design any relationship. So here I'm working from the account, and I want to go from the account entity to the notes. So I have that right here, the note. And then this gives me all my fields from my notes, for my annotation. And then all I need to do here is pick my annotation ID. This gives me the GUID of the actual note that I'm wanting to pull from. Now you may have more than one note naturally. Since this is a relationship, it's basically going to pull back everything. So if you have more than, like say for example, if you have an image in there and you may have other, say, documents or just actual notes or anything stored in there, you may need to use the filtering here to actually filter out to actually get your actual image there. This will probably be something that we'll go over in a future webinar, basically how to use this whole thing. But this is basically how I easily define this relationship here. Once I'm done with that, I'll click OK. It'll build my little tree here. I'll just select the note. Again, from the drop down here this time, I'm going to pick Insert the Note as a picture field. Then I have the ability to put this, I have the ability to put it in a table if I want. I'm just going to insert the field from the first related record, since I know that I only have just the image in there. I can insert the first related record without a table. And then that gives me my image. So we'll just, on this here, we can actually choose from some field properties here. Let me bring those over. And here I have a couple of different things that I can do here. Basically what I'm going to do is set this up to have the container fit to the image. So I don't have to make any adjustments here. I can actually make this container fit to the image. So there's a couple of benefits to each one. This one you kind of have a little bit more control over than you do with the actual linked image. One of the nice things though with the linked image is you make the size of what it is. You know that it's not going to, like say if your image is really, really big, it won't mess up any formatting or anything like that, as it may with this one, particular one right here. So as I've got this here, I want to go ahead, I need to save this before I do anything else. Just save this out to my desktop. And then I'm just going to run this real quick, straight out of Word, just to test this template, just to kind of show you what it's going to bring back. Pull up my record, mscrm-addons, and then go ahead and perform that merge. So this takes just a second for it to come back, and as you can see, I've got my first logo up here, second one down here. This one pulled from the internet, from the web link. This one is actually pulling from the note field. Now, one thing you can see this is a little bit blurry. There's a couple of things that you can do to kind of take care of that. So I'll go ahead and close this out, and I'll show you those settings real quick. So let me just go ahead and I'll just hit my Insert Mail Merge Fields buttons again. We have these advanced template settings here, and some of these actually pertain to image. They're usually here on the General tab. In order to get that correct, all I need to do is Do Not Compress Inserted Images. You can see that the image is kind of compressed down. This is going to give me that sharp image that I had before. So I can go ahead and click OK, save it. And I'll just merge it once again just to kind of show you what that'll do for me. So just pick that. Takes a second for it to get everything together, pull it and merge it, and you see when I use that that one little thing. The image is not compressed; it's really sharp. So there you go. That's how you add images to your documents. Both of them are really easy to do. Now, just to show you a kind of a quick example of where you would use this. Go ahead and close this. I've got a particular quote here, and let's say, for example, that one of the things that I want to do is I want to add images of all these products into my quote so that the user can actually see them. So what I've got here is I have my quote, I have my quoted products, and each one references an existing product. And in that existing product here I have a picture path with a link to the image of the product. So let me flip back here to my actual quote, and then I'll run this one real quick for you here using the dialog here, the DocumentsCorePack dialog. I'll just decide every step. Grab the template that I want to use, and I'm just going to generate a PDF here, just the document real quick so you can see it. So it takes just a minute for it to process through. So it's basically now it's just basically going out and grabbing all the information, taking it and putting that into. Builds out my document here. I'm just going to preview this real quick so you can see how we can actually add the images into there. Gives the quote, you know, it's a better look and feel for the quote there. So again, a real simple thing to do, and really it just kind of distinguishes your quotes from all others. Kind of, if you know you put these images in there, or even all your documents and everything like that, you're able to put that in there. So that's a real kind of a handy feature there. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was actually inserting, like for example here, like if you want to insert other documents here, I've got a quote for Power Tools. I've got this 118 Max. And what is a 118 Max? Well, if we look at the existing product and we come down here to the notes, you can see we have a product spec sheet. I can open this up in Word, and you can see I've got this kind of spec sheet that I've kind of made up here. It's got an image in it and some information about the product. And let's just say that when I send out a quote, I want to, when I have a product, I want to add the spec sheet to the end of the actual quote. Okay, so let me just go ahead. I'm going to close this up. Open up Word, and then I want to open that one particular template that I've been working on my quote and show you how to add these things. So I'll open this template that I've been working on, this particular one here. So here we go. I've got a basic quote layout here. Here are my quoted products. I've got here that the product spec sheet is going to be attached. I'm actually going to attach it here to the end of the quote. You can do it inline if you want to, but let me go ahead and insert my mail merge fields and show you how to do this. So basically, I have in here a page break. This is just one of our little pieces that we add in here. We can add page breaks in your documents. You know, you can use the standard Word ones, but you know, we kind of always recommend this. These are really nice. You can do a lot more stuff with this, especially like in conditional statements and things of that nature. But to go ahead and start this, what I need to do is I need to define that relationship. And as you saw, this relationship is a little more complicated than the one before. So let me go into my relationship designer. I'll just have to move this over. And we're starting from the quote. So I need to go from the quote to the quote products. All right. And then I have all the fields from the quote products here. I need to add a linked element here, which brings up my next layer here. And then I'm going from the quote product to the actual product, or it's actually, since it's a many to one, it's actually the product to the quote product. Have that information there. And here on the product page, I need to add one more linked element, which gets me from the product to the annotations. So grabs the notes. And again here, I'm just adding the annotation ID, the notes, and that's really all I need to do. So you can see here, we've got an example here of a multi-layer relationship. We're basically going 3 levels deep, 3-ish levels deep. So once I have all that set up, it's going to build my little piece here. And it's taken just a brief amount of time. So there we go. So all I need to do here is go ahead and grab this annotation field, insert this, and insert this note as a document. So I'll grab that, brings up my dialog here. Again, select the correct relationship, double click it to add. Then here, just need to say OK. Again, it gives me the ability to create a table. This time around, I am going to actually create a table here because I kind of want my my product sheet surrounded here by this by these borders here, and format it out a little bit. And then all I need to do is save my template back to CRM. So I'll save it right back. Hit my Save Template button. I'll actually call this, since I changed it up a little bit, always version your templates as you're making them, just in case something goes wrong. So I'll call this version 4, and we'll save this. Right. So now let's go into CRM, back to that quote. So to my Power Tools quote. And let's go ahead and let's create this document, see what it looks like. And so I'll just select it, select my version 4 template. Next, I'll just create a single PDF just to kind of show this to you. And again, it's pulling all the information back, everything that it needs, pulling those documents, merging them all together. And here in just a second, it'll spit out a document for me. So I can go ahead and preview this. My preview button, there we go. So I've got my info in here. This is my standard quote. Again here, I've got my page break, and then I've inserted here this product spec sheet. So inserted that right into the document. Turns out really, really nice. So you can have several of these, one after the other. You can set this up any way that you want to. So it's a really handy way to get that kind of information, just these static documents, into your merge document without having to kind of recreate this whole thing inside the DocumentsCorePack. You can just go ahead and pull them. All right. So last but not least, I want to talk about the sub-templates and where and why you would use them. Sub-templates are a very, very handy tool to use. A couple of examples of where I've used sub-templates before myself is we had basically a DocumentsCorePack user that they had probably about 250 different templates that they were using. And each one of these templates had an address block, and their address block was really complicated, and it had a lot of conditional statements in it, to where like if it was if this field equals this, then use this address. If this field equals this, then use this address. And those were constantly being changed. Well, the thing was this is like if they wanted to make changes to it, the main problem was that they were going to have to go back into all 250 of these documents and edit those statements or add to those statements. So this is where the sub-template basically came in. Basically what we did is we created an address block template, and then in all the templates just made a reference to that. So anytime that we had to make a change to the address block, we would just change it in one document, and then they would be able to create these documents, and it would actually use that address block and pull in the different changes and everything like that. That's one good way. Another way that we've seen is we've had another DocumentsCorePack user that was basically, they would do housing appraisals, and they would have a report basically where it would show a picture of the house, and then you know, there was another entity under that that had pictures of anything that was wrong with it, and they wanted to show in a table first the picture of the house and then all the pictures of the stuff that had problems with it. So they were able to do that with using the sub template to kind of line everything up, and that kind of brings me to my example. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. Let's say, for example, that here for this for accounts, I have a report that I run basically here. That's going to show me all the opportunities for this, all the opportunities and all the quotes that are out there for this particular account. So I'll go ahead and I'll just create this report, and you can kind of see as is that, you know, the report's still good. I mean, you can see here, you know, I've got the account report for mscrm-addons, you know, who the account owner is, how many total open opportunities they have, how many open quotes. Got my list of open opportunities here, and I've got my list of open quotes here. What would be much nicer if I was able to, you know, basically set this up to where I had my, you know, this particular opportunity. Underneath that, here's the quotes that are related to this opportunity, and here's all the products inside this quote. If I had all this just kind of in one block, you know, it would be kind of a much nicer report to see. So how do you kind of do that? You would do that basically through the use of these sub-templates. So since I'm starting with a quote, basically what I want to do, let me bring up Word again here. Since I'm starting with a particular, so I'm starting with a quote, what I want to do is I'm going to create the first sub-template. I've just called it Quote Report. This is basically just a standard quote template that I've created here. Okay. Basically, it's just going to give me my quote name, the contact for the quote, and then the total amount, and then all my products. It's going to list all the products for there. That's the first step. I've created that. I save the template back in the side of CRM. The next thing I want to do is in the next level would be for the opportunity. So basically what I would do, or what I've done here, is I've created a opportunity report. So basically here I've got in here, this is just the opportunity name, the owner, when their last contact was, etc. And you can see here I've got this static document in here. So I want to kind of show you how to do this. So I'm just going to kind of delete this for you. I'll do this just this one on this one particular one. So let me go over here to my relationships here, and then I'm just going to get rid of this and do it all for you all over again so you can see how I do it. So it removes all that. So in order to do that, again, I have to kind of create this relationship, and it's very similar to the way that we did before where we just referenced the notes. Here it's a little bit different though. For this particular relationship, I'm looking for the opportunity to the quote. So let me just find that here. And here, instead of the annotation ID or the note, here what I'm looking for is the actual quote. So the quote ID. This returns to me the GUID of the quote that's related to this one particular opportunity record. So I'll select that here. Be very careful here. It's sometimes a little bit misleading. You can see also here I have quote ID. That's an actual. That's actually the quote number. I'm always going to be looking for these fields where the schema name says here ID at the end. That always is going to give you GUID, and that's really, really important, as you'll see in just a moment. So I'll set that up. I've got that relationship to the quote. I'm done with that. I'll click OK. Then I want to go ahead and add this. So I'll select this quote and select static items, static document, and this brings up my table here. So I'm going to go ahead and select this quote. It's going to give me my quote ID. So what I'm going to do is I'll select this, and this basically provides the selected field as a parameter. So I select my document, And it takes just a second because it's got to pull this up from CRM. Just a moment, I'll pull this over so you can see this. So it logs me right into my Dynamics 365 Online instance and gives me a list of all my templates. This is where it can get a little confusing because the templates are not ordered. It's very, very important. I'm pulling this. I have to make sure I get the right one. So that one is called Quote Report right here. And then I will say Add. So basically what we're doing here is as we're resolving this, we're taking this quote GUID and passing it to this quote report, basically telling it, hey, here's the record of this particular quote that we want you to run, that we want you to merge against this template, this quote template. Okay. So this is really, really kind of an somewhat of an important step. You got to kind of make all these correct. Again, you have a few formatting options here. Then I'll just go ahead and say OK. Gives me my ability here to make my table again. So I'll just make just a standard table. No headers or footers or anything like that. And just for formatting purposes, I know to put a space in there. Okay. So basically now when this is merged, it's going to resolve this relationship here. Let's say, for example, that I have two quotes out there. It will then pull that template and merge it twice against the two different quote records and put that information into this document, add that into there. Okay? So all I really need to do is save this template back to CRM. And let's see, I'll just, you always want to version these things. So save. All right. So now that I've taken care of that, I have the quote, I have the opportunity. Now I need to come back here. Let me just close this out. Open this template here, and let's take a look at the account. So on the account, again, I have here this opportunity report version 2. This is the one I ran originally. This is my new report here that I've got. And again, so I just have it's pretty much the same setup as before, except for here I have a list of open opportunities. And again, I've put I've added another relationship in here to add the static document for that's referencing that opportunity. Let me grab that. Oh no, that's not it. There we go. So it's nope. There we go. So it's grabbing this particular opportunity. Easy way to see this, I can click here, my field properties, and it shows you again the same thing. So I'm grabbing the opportunity ID, I'm providing that as a parameter, and this is the particular document that I want to merge this against. And it will go and do that for basically every single opportunity. All right. Again, I have my formatting options. One thing to take note is if you'll remember correctly, I had a total of 3 open opportunities. I had a total of 5 open quotes, right? So if you think about this, this is one of those things, and I'll go ahead and show you this now. I'll go ahead and merge this document now so you can see what it looks like. So I won't save this. Close this down as well. Don't need those. And I do not need this. So go ahead and create the document. And grab this one. Again, I'm going to create a PDF. So now, the thing that I was saying before, you have 3 open opportunities. You have 5 open quotes. Basically, what's happening right now is this is going to take a little bit longer because it's not really that we're merging one document. We're actually merging 9 documents. We're merging that one document for the quotes 5 times, and then we're adding it. We're pairing it to the 3 different opportunities. Well, that happened a little quicker than I thought, but to the 3 opportunities, and then adding that to the 1 opportunity report here. So once I'm done, I can open up this PDF, and as you can see here, I've got my account report. A lot easier to read, a lot easier to see things that are going on. Lets me know here I've got my open opportunities. This one's called Demo Opportunities. Michael Dorr is the opportunity owner, last contact, etc. Here's the different quotes that are out there, the people that created them. My list of products here on the quote. Again, for my next quote here, I've got this. I have 2 open quotes out there for this particular opportunity. And then last but not least, I have the Power Tools quote, and that it's out there with that one particular opportunity. So you can see you can layer these things together and get a kind of a nested table feel for your different reports, for your different documents. Again, it allows you to pull all this stuff together and make it more presentable. Using subtemplates is also a great way to, if you have a whole lot of documents, but there's something that's a constant in there and you're constantly having to make changes to that, it's really great to think to use a subtemplate to do that, to save yourself a lot of time. So you only edit it once and then it's good across all documents. So that being said, that comes to the conclusion of the webinar today. I want to thank everybody for joining. Just want to give a couple of different things out there. You can always find us at the web at www.mscrm-addons.com. Our support is you can find us there on the web at mscrm-addons.com support. Easiest way to do that is just go to the website and click on the support page to find everything that you need. Another thing, we got an awesome blog. It's on our website /blog. We've got some interesting things on there, some interesting tips and tricks, things like this that you're going to see. We do talk, we do have a blog article about subtemplates. We do have a blog article about inserting pictures and things of that nature. So you can search that and find that stuff.